buried for millennia, unseen by anyone alive, until now. Near the ruins of Heraclea Sintica, beneath 4 meters of earth, archaeologists are uncovering another city, not for the living, but for the dead. This vast necropolis holds more than bones. The wealth of artifacts recovered revives the memory of lives, beliefs, and legends from a world long vanished. Join me as we explore the latest discoveries from the necropolis of Heraclea Sintica, from a mysterious terracotta figure of Hermaphroditus and masterfully sculpted stele to gold jewelry and untouched burials. The site we'll visit lies just west of the ancient city of Heraclea Sintica, in what is now southwestern Bulgaria. In ancient times, this region, known as Thrace, was famous for its superb warriors, held back only by constant political fragmentation. One of the earliest mentions of Heraclea comes from the Roman historian Livy, who noted that it lay within the territory of the Sinti tribe, west of the Strymon River. But over time, its name and location faded from memory. The city and its necropolis lay buried and forgotten until relatively recently. Heraclea was rediscovered and identified in 2002, but large-scale rescue excavations of its cemetery only began in April 2025 as part of the gas pipeline expansion project. From the very first day, the site has been yielding astonishing artifacts, but in this video we'll focus on discoveries made in July 2025, a particularly busy month for the team. If you're curious about earlier discoveries, check out my previous video, linked in the description. Okay, let's start with a face that hadn't seen daylight in nearly 2000 years. On July 4th, archaeologists were investigating one of many graves looted and destroyed in antiquity. Digging through mud, they uncovered something remarkable, a masterfully sculpted face staring back through the centuries. According to Professor Ludmil Wagaliński, who leads the excavations, the fragment is part of a marble funerary stele depicting the deceased, one of the Heracleans who found their final resting place in this necropolis. It most likely dates to the 1st century AD and portrays a young man or possibly a woman. Without an inscription, it's impossible to say for sure. But that was just the beginning. Nearby, the team uncovered a much later burial, packed with its own intriguing treasures. Although most of the skeletal remains had decayed due to high groundwater levels, the grave goods were well preserved. Among them, a bronze bulbous fibula, an amphora-shaped jug, an intact glass cup, and 56 bronze coins from the 4th century AD. The intense summer heat, with temperatures reaching 42 degrees Celsius or 108 degrees Fahrenheit, made the physically demanding work even harder. But there was no time to waste. Fast forward just a few days, and a strong metal detector signal indicated gold. Say what you want, but this sound always makes researchers' hearts go faster. And sure enough, at the bottom of a cremation burial, archaeologists carefully unearthed 2 gold earrings. They were undamaged, meaning they had not been placed on the pyre during the funeral. Whoever deposited them in the grave clearly meant to preserve them. These earrings appear to be the most common type in Heraclea Sintica during the 2nd and 3rd centuries. Professor Wagaliński believes they were produced in a local goldsmith workshop. In an adjacent burial, another piece of jewelry was uncovered. This time a silver ring with a gem engraved with the image of a running hunting dog. That same day, the team also found a fibula that had miraculously survived centuries of looting. It came from a grave destroyed long ago. As the excavation expanded, on July 11th, the team struck several stone slabs, the cover of an untouched grave. When the slabs were lifted, well-preserved human remains were revealed. Alongside the skeleton lay grave goods, just as they had been placed during the funeral ceremony nearly 2 millennia ago. One item stood out in particular: an oil lamp bearing a beautiful depiction of a seated lion. The lamp dates the burial to the 2nd or 3rd century AD and features a name inscribed on its base. Unfortunately, the inscription has not yet been deciphered. Other objects included 2 ceramic jugs, a bronze coin, and a bowl. Just when it seemed they had seen it all, they made a surprising discovery. Beneath the first skeleton lay another. The tomb was a double burial. The lower skeleton had a coin placed on the forehead, a bronze onion-shaped fibula, likely used to fasten clothing, a bronze bracelet on the right forearm, and another oil lamp. The archaeologists suspect the burials belonged to a woman and a man. DNA analysis will be conducted to confirm their biological sex and possible familial connection. Once the coins are cleaned, they will help determine whether the individuals were buried at the same time and possibly refine the dating of the tomb. That was a very productive day, as 2 more graves were excavated. Among the most interesting finds were terracotta figurines from a child's grave. One clearly representing a rooster, while the identity of the other remains uncertain. The second grave belonged to a cremated woman and contained a single gold earring. On July 14th, the team uncovered a stele with a pediment and a funerary inscription in ancient Greek. It reveals the name of a person buried in the necropolis and reads, Philoxenos, son of Zoilos. The inscription was deciphered by Dr. Nikolai Sharankov, who noted that it is among the earliest found in Heraclea Sintica, dating to the 3rd century BC, possibly even the first half of that century. The name Zoilos was one of the most popular in Heraclea from the 3rd century BC through to the 3rd century AD. Philoxenos, while much rarer, is known from Hellenistic Macedonia and can be translated as hospitable. So far, the stele cannot be linked to a specific grave. In another burial, they unearthed a tiny gold leaf, likely a clothing adornment. The same grave also held a curious terracotta figurine, an image of Hermaphroditus. In Greek mythology, Hermaphroditus was the child of Aphrodite and Hermes. According to Ovid, after rejecting the advances of the nymph Salmacis, the boy was transformed into a dual-gendered being when the gods granted her wish to be united with him forever. There were also a ceramic lamp and a bronze coin dating the cremation burial to sometime between the 2nd and 1st centuries BC. The team also discovered a terracotta female figurine in one of the graves that had been looted in antiquity. Nearby was another burial. this one undisturbed. It belonged to a child and contained a toy horse, with holes still visible where its wheels would have been attached. An iron strigil was also found there, used for scraping off sweat after physical activity or for hygiene in the bathhouse. One of the most astonishing finds, and my personal favorite, came on July 17th. Before I show you what they uncovered, if you have made it this far, chances are you're enjoying the video. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps promote it so that more people can discover amazing archaeological finds like these. And now, here it is. At first, it didn't look like much, just a mud-caked slab. But once it was turned over, two faces emerged from the earth. It was a marble relief with portraits of a family who lived in Heraclea Sintica in the 2nd century AD. The relief was broken into several pieces, some of them missing, but two more fragments containing additional portraits were recovered alongside the main slab. Initial cleaning revealed a partially preserved inscription, once again translated by Dr. Nikolai Sharankov. It reads, "Made for her husband, for the children, and for herself during her lifetime." Unfortunately, the fragment with the woman's name is lost. The stele had been reused in antiquity for a later burial, and there is no way to determine where her family's tomb originally stood. According to Professor Wagaliński, this type of monument was common in the Middle Struma region and reflects a continuation of local Thracian traditions. Unlike typical Greek funerary reliefs, which often depict scenes of daily life, farewells, and mythological figures, these Thracian monuments include actual portraits of the deceased. But that wasn't the only discovery made that day. The team also unearthed an unlooted grave of a woman. She was buried with jewelry, including gold earrings, a bronze bracelet still on her arm, and bone hairpins. Next to her body lay a miniature lamp, possibly made of glass. Several glass beads were also found, some still attached to a piece of garment, possibly leather rather than fabric, though further analysis is needed before reaching a definitive conclusion. Possibly the most significant discovery in the necropolis so far was made on July 21st. These two unassuming bronze fibulae provide evidence of a Thracian settlement predating Heraclea Sintica. Early estimates date them to the 8th or 7th century BC, long before the city was founded by Philip II of Macedon in the 4th century BC. This find has excited the entire team. Professor Wagaliński says that with a bit of luck and systematic searching, the team might locate Sintia, the Thracian tribal center that existed here before the Macedonian conquest. Fingers crossed. The discoveries here just keep coming, and each one peels back another layer of history. On July 24th, the archaeologists unearthed another cremation burial. Inside the pit was a bronze coin, tentatively dated between the 3rd and 1st centuries BC, pending cleaning and further analysis. The grave also contained a terracotta figurine, yet to be identified. And finally, July 29th. Archaeologists working in one of the trenches noticed large stones protruding from the ground at its edge. It quickly became clear that this was a grave covered by massive stone slabs. After a considerable effort, they managed to remove one of the slabs and take a peek inside. The skeleton was remarkably well preserved. At its feet, deep within the chamber, a shiny object caught their attention. Is it metal or glass? To find out, the team spent 10 hours working in sweltering heat, but by the end of the day, they had fully explored the grave. Inside, they discovered 16 bronze coins and a clay lamp. The coins will be sent for cleaning, while an anthropologist will examine the human remains. And the shiny object? It turned out to be a beautiful glass cup. Work at the site continues, so I'm sure we'll be returning to Heraclea Sintica soon. But which of these finds fascinated you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. See you next time.